Welcome back to Disco Elysium.
That's one brutal motor carriage.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors. Cops' heads. Scary tribal shit.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper skull value.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
Skulls. Now there's a strong organizational title.
I can tell you who we're not. Cop. We're not snitches. Or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, Cop Man, is we're not part of the skulls. Yet.
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange. These young men seem eager to share their beliefs.
You don't know? What?
It's not a question. Don't get into it.
The question was rhetorical. The skulls are the most vicious gang of the Besmertnay.
Besmertine, or the Besmati, the Immortals, are West Rivisholian crime syndicate.
The nastiest bunch of psychos ever. Jacking carriages and getting into high-speed chases.
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-all swagger, infamous for their non-verbal modus operandi.
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock, or you can find them loitering around the brightly painted bottom-lighted
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom lights are wretched aggressive.
What about them? Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, it's also about communal spirit, the few. Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message. What I mean by this is, we are all...
It seems that the young man has a certain expertise in at least one field.
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. The thrill of the chase, the hollowness that fills your chest cavity after catching it.
I'm wondering if the poetics come with their jacket? Or are they...
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though, you get more fish in a shorter time. And, for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly, one must think of a way to fuck the whole world and not get caught up in fucking some one. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing. And that, to me, feels glorious. Sticking your dick into the...
Hate to admit it, but in a weird way, he's got a... Is it a coincidence that here we have 2 badass jackets and 2 badass cops? Your lack of imagination is baffling, but you do make up for it with, yes, questions.
Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper skull.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like Arno van...
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
For all their nihilistic posturing, these young men are not lacking in youthful ideas. The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
Old man, it doesn't matter. You'll be long gone before...
A young woman kneels on a sheet of ice, as if looking for something lost ages ago. She bends until her right ear touches the frozen water. She listens to it crack, slowly.
Yep, old as fuck.
Yeah, man. It's like at death's door. No wonder you know nothing.
Judging by that, Van Eyck is some sort of musician.
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the...
Yeah, we are. We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them. Because we can be just as psycho and vicious.
Ah, you'll see for sure once we're in. It's the last thing you'll ever...
Throw him off his game.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're only saying practice things for now, so we don't mean no harm to the Skulls brand, or to you.
This is definitely something the Skulls would say, but we're not trying to encroach on the Skulls brand in any way. On the contrary, we're just here to market it. We think of it more like 2 franchises merging. You know, us 2 and the Skulls. I really feel like we would add more to the table. Spice things up here in Martinez, you know. Get the old machine of pain and suffering oiled up real good.
Whatever, man. Work is for pussies. You wouldn't get it anyway. Hey, we could be just as hard. Like pavement on top of pavement. Or a brick on top of another.
Or a grave on top of a grave.
These kids have the vocabulary, but might be missing a brain. Wouldn't a grave on top of a grave be just a big hole? What's hard about filling them up, baby?
Mm-hmm.
Murder?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so someone's been a little boring. Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown. No need to be defensive. The regularity, the brownness, the cut and dry have their appeal.
You? I wouldn't worry about that.
See? You're so regular and vinyl brown, he doesn't even want to talk to you about it. Of course you do. And maybe some black shoes or a pristine white shirt to go with that. It's official. My lord's copper type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax. Good, good. Of course, to outright declare yourself something does seem a bit too interesting now. Does this found the smell of cigarettes and perfume. Well, there's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lowest. Voila.
Bonne prise.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to toll booths at the intake. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881 to Couronne, through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then to Stella Maris and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle to their fates below the road. This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers. Wind rips through the empty hallways of the once great military hospital, now just a ruin under, and the rattle of motor carriages and lorries driving through long-forgotten tunnels. The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the... These service tunnels were probably used. Looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the...
So it would seem. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them. Hard to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the Besmerti behind it. The Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol, with cool names like La Puta Madre and Aura Masta. It's a dark parody. It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most likely suspect. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved. Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick this up later.
The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a bit, but one odd detail does catch. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique? Yes? Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. At least we can now ask Titus some concrete questions about it.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. The radio transmitter sits on the center console and a faint smell of perfume is in a metallic drawer. It's an issue of Peripher. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast. These formulas look...
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
It's an issue of Peripheric. It looks like an art. These formulas...
The Ulan frequency system?
Pull out toolbox slice back into its net. Looks like the frequency...
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool.
A 20-kilometer radius at least. Perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here.
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable.
The ghostly actresses and the rusty toolbox. These are one of them, but there's definitely perfume in the air. It's the remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume. Probably the actress is draped in a sheet. Wait, doesn't she? This is she wasted away in a drug. The actresses and the rear actually closed.
Yes? I'm glad to hear it, Detective. I was wondering when we'd get to this. If you ask me, It's high time for you to put the bottle away. Sober up, get back to basics. That would be my advice. Why are you pronouncing it like that gentleman from the Institute of Price Stabilité? You know what? Forget it. What specifically are you trying to assign responsibility for? No. Next, I suppose you're going to tell me you need to form a committee to assign this responsibility. Simple. Because moral intern types love to. In any event, I am just a humble law official. You know who might be, though? That Mr. Villeudroit. If I were trying to get in touch with the coalition, I would start by seeking. Now, was there anything else?
Great news. The boat is big enough for a grown man like you to fit underneath it in a supine position. Sleeping. Was it not decided that you're a hobo cop? More? Oh no. He's pretty much a bum now.
Yes?
The worn and
You can revisit the...
the scruffy-haired little boy, the other one, looks indistinguishable from him. He watches his brother kick the stone with his tongue lolling out of his mouth.
What bad people?
I don't think questioning 4-year-olds without their parents present is going to crack the case.
The kids don't reply. Absorbed in the stone-kicking one becomes frantic all of a sudden, as if that...
He looks just like me.
The boy doesn't answer. The rock kicker was just being...
You're bad with kids. Don't worry, everyone is. How about we do some police work now?
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for...
Does he actually know you? Or
So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. I also have speed. And by speed, I mean amphetamine. See, friend, it's real valuable. Worth every real, if you catch my drift. Got it from a bit of a business venture. You know, it's funny, actually.
he's finding it difficult to focus.
What?
Keep him talking.
This guy. Oh, this is medicinal spirit. I got one of those scientific ampules a few months ago. Torpedo, they call it. It's supposed to keep a man from taking a drink. Didn't stop me for shit, that's for sure. 5 lemons with half a pack of butter and you're good to go. It was. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all kinds of help. Finally, the missus, those arseholes charged me 4 real to remove the damn thing. But I came out on top after all. The idiots left me alone in there. Now, I used to teach high school biology. I know what... Like 3 cans of this blue medicinal stuff from the back room. Threw the snakes out and voila. What's left is this beautiful...
Snakes or intestine.
2 I already sold to these fine gentlemen here. But this last one is yours for 3 real, if you... So what do you want then? In the civilized world, it's a custom to tip the shopkeep, friend.
Hey, Tequila! Good to see you. How's business? How's the whole reality situation treating you? So what's happening? Yeah, Tequila Sunset. How are...
He says it like it's obviously your name. Like you call someone Billy Brunel or leader of the 4th Street gang.
It's good to hear that you're on top of things. Talking about used to, did you know that I used to be a real mover and shaker? Sadly, things aren't going that well in Idiot Doom Spiral Land. Haven't found those keys yet, haven't won that great piece of ass back. No word from my...
Idiot Doom Spiral, huh? This is bound to be a good, high-concept conversation. At last.
It's you. We've met before.
No, you sure don't.
Aha. Do you want to know? Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday. And by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. The man, Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. You got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. Word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer, and...
It is. Does that sound like something you'd do? Yeah, the lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually.
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving.
Do you remember the sound of...
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of... Anyway, there was a brief silence. A gasp of silence, if you will. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed. What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage. The time hath come! So, naturally, being the curious... The time hath come for Tequila Sunset! The end of all things! After which, your reality contracted. You jammed the pedal, plowed right off the jetty, and through the ice.
Your hands cramp on the steering.
We ran towards the ice, whilst you crawled your way out. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your bad, recognizing a brother in need, We offered our condolences, and we asked about the whole Tequila Sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now, and insisted that we all call you that from then on. I'm not sure. I think you were the event. Tequila Sunset. You know, as opposed to a tequila sunrise. Yeah, ours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. How they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while, you crossed the event.
Wow. That's...
Yeah, I bet tequila's a fucking legend around the
If you only knew.
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you...
No one's fucked me. Oh,
Abigail! It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or something. To be honest, the details are a little hazy. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers, whose no specifics though. It was more about you that night. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone to do...
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
Yeah, you said that it was okay that you crashed your carriage because this was before you started talking about how the Pinkies were always trying to fuck you. You kept apologizing for... You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temples, saying, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Can't really remember seeing any women after losing...
It's a touchy topic. He hasn't got laid in ages. He really has no idea who this Ruby is, sire.
We are saving... Please! Please don't call. Okay, we're drinking. We're drinking alcohol. That's what we're doing. So now, it's a pirate's life for me. Whoop-de-doo. So now, I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really.
The gleam in his eyes and the... You might get scammed here.
Booze. Did you... So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Then I will see you again.
all kinds, sir. Beer and wine.
You too, Tick.
The noxious odor emanating from the...
Don't you call her? Yeah. Uh-huh. Abigail. Don't you fucking...
You're not going to get... Never thought you'd see such a thing in your life. But this guy's a little too drunk.
Don't call Abigail.
A drop in temperature, an easy flow of air, an empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries. No more drivers smoking on hitched steps. Just chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. Corrosion has opened a hole in its roof. An elm tree watches over the building. Its branches are dripping with red. The road is smooth and motley. Craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt, first laid, is grey already. A row of tenements are under construction in the distance. A tub warm with water, white with soap. A man bathes while radio waves transmit the lottery numbers. 4, 18, 21, 4, 1. A modern washing machine rattles a drawer full of silverware. Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. The bus took them to school. It has not run for 8 years. There were not enough girls to sustain its craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy trucks full of black pitch rolled in. The landowners have filled the craters with money. It is a vital artery. There's one bump on the road. A dead dog lies flat about 200 paces away. Tragedy comes from the wheels of a fast RCM vehicle hurrying to work. The cold washes over you. The sound of the sea as the wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the... You're not sure about the melody, but it might be
Welcome to the fishing village. Please lean in closer. I have cataracts. Oh, welcome, police officer. We don't cause any...
We are not here to cause any trouble, madame.
Oh, of course. Last time we saw you around here was 12 years ago. You also came to take care of trouble then. Wish you did. But still, in Martinez, you're considered an ill omen. No, not you personally. I meant the RCM. Some of the men got into a fight. One of them killed another, locked himself in that woodshed over there. He was brooding, needed some help opening the door. You got it open for him and took him to think about what he'd done in a more secluded place.
She says it as if he was on some kind of spiritual retreat.
Oh, the usual. Dark tidings. Black hound.
That's you, all right. A black hound licking your own heels.
Maybe they are, because you're an ill omen. But you're still welcome here, as long as men with guns aren't chasing you. And maybe even then, because that's the kind of fishing village we've built. I'm sorry there's not a lot of room to park the motor carriage, and not a lot of houses, or a lot of people. My kids are long gone, searching for treasure. So are others. Ah, look at me ramble on. What brings you to us? Nay, I haven't seen any. This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on.
She's being evasive.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other. No, it's not like that, man. With him we called you. Right now, you just arrived by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass. There's not much to tell.
I see, ma'am. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
Ruby was here. You know it.
Stay? Most people... That said, if lodgings is what you're looking for, I've got a free room in the shack. I won't charge you for it. Take it as a gesture of goodwill from the village to the RCM. Oh, don't. It's your choice. No skin off my... My kids grew up and left like they do. The house is long empty now. I live in the small side attachment. It's easier and cheaper to keep warm. Don't make an old woman regret opening her...
Well, if you are not in the hostel in the morning, I'll know where to find you. Here, in a shack.
just us. It's barely a village anymore. This is pretty much a non-place. A gap, a blank spot on the map, just a cluster of nameless shacks on the...
The place is so pornographically poor, it's not even funny.
Well, there's Lillian and her kids. A few new folks live in the house to the east, but they're away right now. And then there's the drunks. Not a pretty. I'm sure you did. Nature keeps them in rotation. A new face pops up every now and an old one disappears and is forgotten. This is who we are. Here, for you, no officer. The only money we have here is some coins the drunks try.
Under carts, boats, in little boxes. It's not hard to find. She nods, rinsing another piece of cloth.
Not much. There's the abandoned church. Some things just don't fly, officer. Look around. Who'd go to church here?
So, they don't hold
No, we've tried, but things just keep happening. Crime, accidents, other things. The place never stays open. It's a pity. It used to be such a nice church. Before you get to the church, there's some ruins, an apartment complex, or some kind of electrical plant. Run-down bunch of houses, empty. I don't know exactly. A pre-war place. It used to be something. Before the war. I wasn't here then, Was born in Samara. Of note, the old fish market up on the boardwalk. But it's closed. As I said, it's a peninsula. There's no one there, just ghosts and vagrants and teenagers making out.
Rigorous self-critique. Here it is. Hard facts from the man you are. You once jerked off in the locker room and were caught. You held a young woman by the arm and kept her in your apartment for 20 minutes against her will. That's right. These are not flights of fancy. These are real deeds, Harry, emerging from the darkness of your past. You tried shooting a fleeing suspect in the foot, but hit him in the pelvis, crippling him for life. And, above all, you let life defeat you. All the gifts your parents gave you, all the love and patience of your friends, you drowned in a neurotoxin. You let misery win.
Yes?
The door has seen better days. The layer of...
I'll wait outside to give you some time and privacy to check out your new living arrangement. After we are done with the day, I'll still be staying in...
The key turns with a... The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. The water reflects back. You'll be looking like a pansy without the chops. A fresh start looms ahead. Clean yourself up and be born anew. Like an artist with a brush or a master swordsman, you use the small mirror and the straight razor with some soap. The sharp blade chafes against your skin, producing a scratching sound. They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. A feeling of freshness overcomes you, as if the water reflects back a vague image of your clean-shaven face. Despite the bulbous nose, unkempt hair, and persistent, you almost look like a professional. As you look at the edge of a floorboard, hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark. Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more. You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. A small cylindrical object, a 9mm bullet to be exact. The floorboard doesn't care. But maybe the wash. A brisk coastal wind still howls against the window of the shack. Occasionally, the waves crawl in under the foundation, producing a low. The room feels muffled, like you pulled your hat over your ears. Outside, it is cold and windy.
What is this place to you?
Overhead, you hear the forlorn shriek of seagulls. Far below the bird, a middle-aged man stands in a rundown shack on the edge of a fishing village, listening to the heater hum on the wall. Who are you talking to? There is no one here, not even cold. Outside, the howl of the wind has picked up.
Revachol forever.
Yes? Yes. I don't know what to say. I'm not really sure about this turn of events. I think the mutton chops, either way, good on you. You were saying?
Hello, mister.
She clutches a small stuffed animal. Occasionally, she twirls.
Yes. They don't want to play with me. They're older and play outside. They look the same. They look identical. My mom's outside, and I don't really know about my dad. It's Lammy. He's my friend. Sort of.
Lambie is a stuffed lamb that, admittedly, has seen better days. One of the eye buttons is missing, and the fur is tattered in several parts.
Lammy usually doesn't like strangers, but you're also fuzzy, like Lammy. It's a grouse.
You might be able to get on Gart's good side if you make up for the skua you broke.
I don't know.
She twirls the furry dollar. All right, you just need to grab it from the ceiling and go.
Bye.
Hi, officer. Anything I can help you with? A fishing village on the seashore. This place doesn't really have a name. The sign on the street leading here is illegible. Has been since they built this place. The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker. I think I have time for questions, and that was actually the second one.
Indeed, you're always confused as to your whereabouts.
Let's see. Who are you looking for? Okay. When did this person stay here? Oh. I've been out on the sea for most of the past week. Yes, that's the optimal time. Got to make the most of the calm. I've been sleeping like a corpse after. The sea really takes its toll. Now I'm just waiting for the wind to settle to get out there. Sorry I couldn't help you out. Maybe I can help you find someone else. I don't think I know what these are. Care to elaborate? Aha! Like snowmen. Two odd guys have been wandering around here, nose in sand, talking nonsense about snowmen and the like. Right. Not only snowmen, also green men, monkey men burning rhinos.
Oh, you're getting it. And it is gorgeous.
Don't really know. Further down the peninsula, I guess. I mean, that's where they were heading. Who else are you looking for besides snowmen? Well, how can I assist you then, officer? Like I said, fish mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. Right now I'm tarring a little skiff. Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea has given up. The sea is full of surprises.
Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on her.
Wood, pieces of glass. Every once in a while we see dead bodies. Human, animal, fish, other odd sea creatures. A mine washed ashore once. Bottles, drugs also. Lost cargo in general. Most of the time it's just wood and glass.
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself every morning. Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. It's to intimidate folks mostly. It's a regular mass-produced sword, like a from time to time people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day, I caught the eyes of many men. And believe me, men need a lesson in manners from time to time. Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Others were more thick-headed. And one of them, I ended up marrying. Gone. To the waves. The sea took him. It was a long time ago. He didn't respect the sea. Went out there, drunk like a skunk, and sure enough, one day the boat was found floating empty. The bloated corpse turned up 2 weeks. Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago, and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles.
She really liked those muscles, though. It's in the way she pronounces sinewy.
Us working folk don't have the luxury to be bedsick with melancholy. I buried him, mourned for an appropriate amount of time, and went on. Life didn't really change that much for me and the kids.
This is neither a touchy, nor... She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action.
Sure is. The sun, I call her, coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue. I'll just keep the Corda Lacey in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier. Aye, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty?
Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing.
Hello, detectives. It's good to see you here.
What brings you here?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
How do I like it?
Water drips down eaves of Eternite. The smell of salt and dog shit in...
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name, all the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage? I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests.
Fortunately for you, madame.
All right. Politics time. Let's react.
She could easily just...
Above you, there forms a quilt of alto. Their cloud shadows slide over the ruins of Revachol West.
Do you know how they discovered this place? No, they're in Sealindian, Isola. Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty. It's a pity. Most of these people will never know what this place means, this island of matter, or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location? Godspeed, Detective.
Thank you, ma'am.
scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. The morning sun rises beyond the horizon, radiating the first light of the day. The order was carried. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace. The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone. A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side. But from which one? The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling.
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the... Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition. It could even have been the employees of the failed R&D center down the coast, as their building was taken over by the revolution.
Or maybe...
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the war. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior giving the orders.
A cold sea wind blows away behind this building, the other one, once filled with engineers and designers of Feld Electric. A row of ghostly shades facing a crumbling wall, with another 7 shades standing 10 meters from a cold behind this building. There's no way the perk isn't here, officer. Look how scarred the boards are. All attempts to pry them off have failed. Not this time. The opposition is insurmountable, but I like the spirit. Have some points. It's lonely and cold.
The suspect? God, I hope not. I can't see a way in, though many...
go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which...
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it. To what do I owe?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Oh, no. It's all right. I'm just busy. What? Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken. We can't go all the way around the 881.
The 881 is a raised motorway that separates Martinez from Jamrock. The labyrinth of streets underneath it makes it difficult to pass, not like walking over a night.
Oh, good. We should really be getting back.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going. I'm afraid not, officer. I've been busy digging around in the reeds for...
The lieutenant takes a short note in his notebook, then gestures for you to proceed.
Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it. Very little, I'm sorry. Not yet.
Just out of curiosity, if they...
I know it's real.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is...
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition. Yes, the most recent sighting. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is
He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small...
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so... Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick. Yes. Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that...
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism. Simple. Attracted by the locusts. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use... They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams.
The traps do seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. It's...
Yes. What? I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both. It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often. No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemnee, which is fourth, 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in... Yes. The Chateauquan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo some... We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should... Indeed. If our expedition is successful...
The hair on your arms stand up. He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or...
Yes?
Hello, I'm Gary. How do you do, Yellow Man? I mean, officer.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrow. Yellow Man. Interesting.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization. I like nature, just not this bloody coast.
Degenerates, this man respects authority too much. To see the truth inscribed upon thine own visage, pretend thou art a paragon of virtue.
Oh, I've been tempted. But someone has to stay strong for Revacol.
He pronounces Revacol with a hard K, unlike other people.
No. I help Morel with research sometimes.
After all this time with Morel, he must have an opinion on cryptids.
Oh, yes, the burning rhino. Morel doubts he's real, but I don't much care, because I won't be the one looking for him out in a rhinoceros that looks ordinary during the day, but burns brightly by night. They have special ducts just above their shoulder blades that secrete a combustible fluid. When the rhino is just beginning to light itself, it looks as though it...
But how is this combustible?
The rhino starts running very fast to build heat, then stops, raises its head, and sparks fly from it. Yeah, well, Revacol used to be a flaming rhino once, a long time ago.
Super solid argument, Gary. Can't argue with that.
The flames are not just for decoration. During the burning rhino's mating season, herds of male rhinos, all aflame, encircle. Local peasants call it the passion ring. They fear the rhinos, as perhaps they should. Anyway.
The lieutenant sighs. It's clear the burning rhino is dear to him on many levels, some even spiritual.
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sale. I meant no offense, truly. Oh, yes, of course he is. I was just speaking about his connections. Let's change the subject.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kisuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hype.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, hypertext, Young Carp, and the collection of cultural hyperlinks. Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall. No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radios.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer.
So you haven't seen anyone?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer. An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution, revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer, which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He assumes something like a combat stance.
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes, possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins. All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans. Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail.
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
Tape computers. They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases, the most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars. What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans ce Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Womty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Hughes joined the team.
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center? He did it. He said Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center? And who the hell are Keith?
The Womty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to... In fact, I'm not. The Womty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionary setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07. Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. But of course, what else? No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Pick your brain? If you see, a once bright mural towering above you. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled lead.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable. You pick up the handset. There's a tone. The machine is operable. Calling. Still call. This feels wrong. End of tone.
Pierre? Is that you, Pierre? Do you have any news about Pierre? He's my sister's grandson. He used to visit me as a lad. Fine young man. But who are you then? A salesman of some sort? Modern goods are rubbish, and I can't afford them anyhow. It's a shame what you did to our country. This is because we are bred to be leaders. I can hear the common or mixed background from your voice. I just so wanted it to be Pierre. Have a pleasant evening, prankster.
Disconnect tone. Winter. Slowed. The snow falls lazily, making the beach sand paler still, mixing with the rust-colored sewage run. And to think, it seemed as though it were already spring. The melting snow seeps through your thin clothes. Grandmothers don't let their grandchildren out dressed so lightly in this weather. You look around. Near, snow falls into Darkwater. She prays, though she doesn't believe. That's all. Layer upon layer of sand, poisoned with industrial runoff. The storm drainage. Hidden. Someone stuffed a big old polar anorak into a concrete pipe under the boardwalk. It would keep you warm. You would probably never happen across it. But who knows? The raised motorway 881 was once a park, a place for reflection and recuperation for the patients of the old military hospital. In the 20s, it was used as a quarantine center during a measles outbreak that killed many children. Most everyone has avoided the hospital and surrounding park ever since. The pox is completely wild now. Evergreen thickets covered in snow and industrial dust. Feral dogs and even wolves roaming in packs. The police tried. Heavy drug users do slip through and hole up in the old military hospital, hoping to find something to get high on. A line of motor garages with armored carapaces hunched in the cold. A mechanic is hard at work, patching up bullet holes in the side of a Capri 40. These are the garages of Precinct 41. Snow settles on the roof of the repurposed silk mill. It serves as your station. Shivering RCM personnel hurry in and out of around you. The snow continues to fall. To the west, a chill comes over you, crawling down your back.
We should keep moving. Who knows when the snow will let up.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again. Goodness, how is he? Did he say why he hasn't...
He's fine, ma'am. As we had suspected, he couldn't get back earlier because the water lock on the canal was broken. Now he's just finishing up some work.
Oh, yes. That's my Morel. He's bound to catch a cold staying out there for so... But I am so relieved to hear that he's okay. Thank you for putting an old woman's heart at ease, if even a little.
You haven't, however. There are dangers out there. Our aging body's foul. Her heart won't rest until Morel is safely... A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. It's barely covered in steam anymore. You see yourself, still... A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. Still... A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. Still not... A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. It's like something snaps in you. A nerve ending. A thought. A sadness. Your face in the mirror is suddenly clean of the layer that had this. Just like that, it's over. The running gag that your life had become. A sad... A mirror hangs.
Yes?
Yes? What is it? Of course I'm with him. Why do you ask?
And you look like you don't bathe, on principle.
Please, let's not turn this into another exchange, okay?
The Coppernado is back. What do you want?
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope... Damn that girl.
And without anger, a long and harsh life is...
But you didn't put it there, did you?
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either. Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
That's for the police to find out. Right there. Please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the Lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
I cleaned it, like I always know.
The truth, sire.
She's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Did she talk to you much during her last?
No, she was mostly silent this time. She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room. How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun. Not that I know of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape milieux she'd made. Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack. You should be thankful for that. I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
Are you sure you would rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater?
The failed electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her. She's a good girl, whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth. Maybe it's just a storm drain for...
No idea. Could be connected to... We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martin. In conclusion, she could be in... I hope not.
There's no echo. Someone has left an unidentifiable article of the cloth, if you can still call it that. It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of... It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you. It's a guano-encrusted jacket, and...
The smell, it's awful and familiar. It doesn't help. You can still... Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungent... Something cold wakes in the pit. It is death. The lieutenant has all...
Eyes up, detective.
A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper. Half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the right leg. The fall, the smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old.
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steal your calm now. Carefully. Just another day. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. The leather jacket suits him well. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. You have to be quite inebriated to fall that bad. Well over a liter of pure ethanol. 3 bottles of wine, or 1.5, or maybe it was just dark. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his mustache. His eyes empty and wide. Height 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age approximately 50 to 60 years. There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist. A dried chunk of blood covers the hair, and this is what killed him.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you? Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the cause of the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile. You see waves churning below. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him. A .75-liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. It's mid-market spirits with a slight touch of menthol. The man meant to enjoy.
Tear all around us.
Rubowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth, the blackness of death. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind.
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here. But that's just the laziest.
At least this man knew how to party. Imagine the same scene without the bottle. Now that would be just sad.
We do know that he was married. But you're right. Let's not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive. Oh yes. Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. But I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure. What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby...
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure. From where I stand, I can see 2 options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our Alright, We should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper. 2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor.
A tragedy.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy. Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high tar content. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads, Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air. The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. Dripping water falls. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of what?
No. I won't even try. You know, I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad. Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I pass my shooting courses 7 out of 10.
You see, a slogan used to above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall. Feld Electrical. Feld Electrical, you only know them as a small company. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first. Indeed, somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin. You felt it before, when it rained in Martinez, and you felt the cold of the rain. The feeling persists. It has been in you.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical ruin over there.
Why single out this one building? Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? One moment. Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him, and traces of vomit on his shirt.
Any signs of violence? No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing and
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Any information on the library?
you can hear her.
Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there a 57th over and out?
In the cabin, you see a set of As you hold it in your hands, it's a sordid, filthy tale. Some secrets are better left uncovered. Don't even try. It occurs to you that you're not even holding. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey. Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. The faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. So the crust is hard. This jacket spent somewhere high above the city. They are like the bombardiers of the... All of a sudden, the bomb splat, an explosion of white on a man's shoe. It's too late. You've already thought about it, and now your hands are covered in muck. Now you're just flicking that shit everywhere. The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family. Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinting Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has... Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy Mejean.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Hold on, officer. I've got Central Jamrock Public Library on the line, and I've already introduced you to their librarian. Connecting the call in 2, 1.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How can I help you, officer? Billy Mejean, you said. Give me a moment, I'll have to check our database.
On Moreau Drive in Central Jamrock, in a darkened hall lit by orange desk lamps far away from the noise outside, a middle-aged man taps commands into an old radio computer. A printout falls on the desk. Behind him, a lonely reader scours some dusty bookshelves, looking for a paper.
Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Mejean's home address, is that alright? No phone number, unfortunately.
They're too poor to have a phone line.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20. It's in Martinez, I believe. Cape Side Apartments, it says. That's all.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago, but I wasn't at work that day. Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Mejean? They returned a Thibault book the other day.
Maurice, what? A woman yells. Then, yes. Okay, if it was the police.
Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi release, Lowe's Radio City 87, but we don't have it yet.
Good. You have a name now.
Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her. Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight. Marie? she said it was an older man, and that she's... sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that. Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
Anything else you need from me? 57.
In the cabin, you see a set of... A weathered brown door. Something smells good. The lieutenant motions to you to go ahead and knock.
You're right. Let's talk this through.
You hear light footsteps.
We have our first preliminary identification. In all likelihood, the deceased... Now, delivering a death notification is never an easy task. There's a reason why it's often called the most stressful part of our job. This is why it's usually done in pairs. You got this. I'll be monitoring. Dead? Just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
The lieutenant motions towards the...
Hello? Who is it?
And someone turns down the radio.
The police. A moment, please give us a moment.
Tidying up.
Come in, the door.
It's you from the bookstand. I don't think I introduced myself properly. I'm Billy. Would you like something to drink?
The lieutenant has taken off his foggy glasses, condensation, from stepping inside.
Is this about Victor, my husband? Is he in some kind of trouble again? No, this is something much worse.
How about some small talk before you break the news?
It's me, Victor, and the kids here. We have 2 daughters, Jenny and Jolie. Jolie is 16 and Jenny is turning 18 next month. The girls are staying at their friend's place tonight.
She swallows,
He has a problem with drinking. He's probably in the box drinking with his friends. I sent him to the library a few days ago, but I guess something came up. His old leather jacket. It's just your average brown leather jacket, but he bought it as a teenager. Yes, the lining is hand-sewn. It's blue. I tried to make the thing more weatherproof since he's running around with it in the middle of winter. No, I guess I'll find out when he decides to come. It shouldn't be long from now. He's never gone for more than a few days. Oh, it's in Jamrock. The one at Mayro Street.
Central Jamrock.
I think, yes, if that...
It is.
Just to return a book of mine? Why? Yes.
She folds her... Here it comes. I don't want to. There has been enough pain. I don't want to do this.
Do what?
Officer.
Too late. You ruined...
Excuse me? What?
She's in pain.
We are very sorry to inform you, but your husband, Victor Méjean, was found dead.
Oh. But he was just...
I understand that this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner...
What happened to him? Tell me.
And you just... How long had he been there?
She doesn't reply. You hear the clock ticking.
Is there anyone we could call for you?
No. I just need to tell my girls.
It burns like acid. Unreal.
God, should I call them? Should I tell them to come home? All right, I'll call them. Just tell me, what do I need to do next?
For God's sake, lie.
And who should I contact?
He was taken to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Here's his number, in case you want to contact him earlier. Is there anything else that the RCM could do for you?
No, I'll call you if something comes up. I'm still a bit...
Again, if there's anything we could do for you, then don't hesitate to call the RCM, ma'am.
She just nods, distant and in. These are her last reserves of strength.
I'll take it from here. Thank you.
We should step outside and talk. So, the death notification. It's all right. Don't worry about it. I'll call the station when we're finished with the day and let them know the name of the deceased. There's not much we can do for them anymore. That's it. We should get back to our case. There's nothing more we can do here. And, officer, I've seen worse. This wasn't the worst I've seen, okay? Now let's go.
You should return to the boardwalk now that the body has been taken away. There's something you need to see. A little something that your visual cortex has put together while you were away. Oh no, it's one of those show, don't tell things. You can just stop by whenever you're close. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. 57.
In the cabin, you see a set. cold sea breeze stings your face as you step on the boardwalk. The body is gone, but something still lingers in the air, and high above it, against a luminous wheel of pleasure, and all things bright, its wooden frame creaking in the wind. 12 red cabins form a circle that stretches from the engine below to the flocks of seagulls up in the...
What are you looking at?
The little wooden gondolas dangle in the wind, their seats empty and floors littered with old ice cream. A seabird has made a nest in one of the cabins, but even this look, the pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk. There's a ticket office made out of an old gondola, its wooden frame the same shade of red as the ones above. A sign mounted on its side declares, there are hustlers, addicts, rag and bone merchants, even entire families, if they're particularly distant. The pleasure wheel stands still on
the one that Mr. Hiddleston mentioned? What is...
Nothing's going on with you. Everything is perfectly fine. We're just here to look at the pleasure wheel.
Well, here's the secret. I've never been on an amusement ride. There used to be one in Kuran, a small one, when I was a kid. I was always too small to be allowed on board. The harness didn't work. And by the time I was finally tall enough, the wheel had fallen apart. We should get going.
The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk. Some waves come crashing against the boardwalk, shattering the mirage. The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical Art. The once bright mural towers above suddenly. The ruin in front of you is silent as a The once bright mural towers above you suddenly. The once bright mural towers up suddenly. The once bright mural towers up suddenly. The once bright mural towers suddenly. The once bright mural towers up suddenly. The once bright mural towers above you suddenly. The once bright mural, even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no trying to talk to the wind, the city, Whatever you is trying to talk to the city, something you've done before. Is it in...
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We've already talked to the cryptozoologists. Working with them might give us a good And then there's the church. If I were a murder suspect, I would not hide in the most prominent building here. But who knows? Maybe she's right.
Or spiritual.
Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, and then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it all...
Alright, I think that's what we're going to call it for the night. I thank you all for watching. And we will catch you all next time.